Hello guys, welcome back to yet another video. Now today I'm going to talk about the upcoming Dragon Ball Super movie releasing in 2018, December of 2018 actually. This is going to be the first theatrical Dragon Ball Super movie that we've seen in the franchise so far, and a prominent feature of this Dragon Ball Super movie will be Ice as the main backdrop for, at least the promotional material, and I think Ice will be the, main background, the main backdrop of the fight as well, the end fight of, the Dragon Ball movies. I think it will be set there, and also it's been, as I said, throughout the promotional material and plus the trailer with the new Saiyan and whatnot. So there's a ton of theories going around about Ice and what, factors it will play throughout the story of the Dragon Ball Super movie. A lot of people are talking about this promotional flyer in Japan right now with, a Saiyan shadow. Basically, it says a whole bunch of text, Japanese text, and it shows, as the background, Ice with a Saiyan shadow with a tail, indicating a new Saiyan. Now, there's been a ton of speculatory videos about this, and I think they're just, looking too deep into it. I don't think that a Saiyan is frozen in ice. I think it's just, I'm 99% sure it's just cool marketing. Something, that looks cool to grab people's eyes, a new Saiyan with a tail as the shadow. It doesn't even look like he's in the ice, like he's not trapped in the ice. This is not Avatar, it's just the shadow of a Saiyan in the ice, indicating that there's going to be, Saiyans are going to play a more prominent role, and I don't think it's necessarily something that's going to happen in the story. I don't think it's a hint towards the potential story. Now it, could be that a Saiyan is trapped in ice, but I don't think that the promotional material is, this big hint like everyone's sort of making it out. So I don't really care about the promo flyer with the Saiyan shadow. That's just 100% marketing. Something to look cool, as I said, to grab people's eyes and be like, oh shit, that looks cool. Can't wait to see the movie. The poster for The Phantom Menace shows Anakin Skywalker as a boy and his shadow being like Darth Vader. That, like, teaser poster for Star Wars Episode 1, next to the Tatooine hut. Darth Vader was, near the Tatooine hut, and it was just a simple indicator that Skywalker was going to be an important part of the movie and the rise of Darth Vader. Darth Vader didn't, he wasn't born in the hut. Nobody made up theories in 1998 saying, oh, Darth Vader will be created on Tatooine, guys, because look at the poster, It's exactly the same with this Dragon Ball Super movie. I think people are, trying to pull the trigger a bit too much, like they're just, they're just sort of speculating a bit too hard with this stuff. And speculating and predicting stuff is cool, but it needs to be grounded and rooted in some sort of capacity and in some sort of realism. You just can't say, oh, a Saiyan is in the shadow because Saiyans are prominent in the movie and it happens to be an ice background. Okay, Saiyans are going to be trapped in ice. It just doesn't really work out. But anyway, I believe, at least, the ice indicates that this might be freezing the past. This movie might be freezing, metaphorically of course, the past. As this movie deals with a lot of prior events in the series, specifically with Frieza and the Saiyans, so I think this movie will literally top this off, this arc off with the Frieza and the Saiyans by sort of freezing the past. So I think that's kind of symbolism there. Again, I don't think it's intentional, but what I do think is intentional is that the ice is there to represent a sort of old Dragon Ball Z movie look. And, how retro do you want to go with this is with the Dragon Ball Z movies. The original three, in fact. So we've got the first one, which is Dead Zone. Now, the Dead Zone background is Garlic Jr.'s fortress, and that's a bit too distinct, a bit too sort of different to really have into this Dragon Ball Super movie. And the third movie, Tree of Might, that is set in a very distinct place as well that you can't really do in this Dragon Ball Super movie unless you go into another planet, and I think this will be set on Earth, obviously. So the second Dragon Ball Z movie has ice, and they can do ice on Earth. It's the most recognizable thing, and there was ice in the Dragon Ball Z, the world's strongest, or the strongest guy in the world, whatever you want to call it, in Japan. There was ice in that, so they're like, okay, we can use ice as a way of recognizing the original Dragon Ball Z movies, the original, few, by the way, just to clarify. And yeah, it's mostly just an aesthetic choice, and my personal interpretation is that they're sort of freezing the past, they're putting a cap on this arc, they're topping it off, they're icing it up, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the point where it's like, we're going to just freeze and put this on rest for now. This whole entire arc has been building up to this sort of peak, the top of the mountain, the peak of the mountain, this is it. But obviously that's my interpretation, and I don't think the ice will play a huge factor in the movie, just like in terms of like story, I don't think. And yeah, it's just a symbol for the climax of this arc that has been building up for decades. That's just me though. What do you guys think in the comment section down below? I really want to hear what you guys have to say regarding ice. And also I think that Golden Frieza will be the only Frieza form shown throughout the movie. I don't think Frieza, in his final form, will play a massive role in the movie, at least the ice segments, and in the ice segments I think it's all Golden Frieza. My reasoning for this is that the ice, while ice is blue in this movie, I think it'll clash a bit too heavily with Frieza's final form colors, being white and purple. I just think it'll clash with the colors a bit too much, and it just won't look great. So I think Frieza will be in his golden form. That's kind of off topic, but that's just my little prediction in my head. But yeah, and this Dragon Ball Super movie is trying to emulate the old Dragon Ball Z style in terms of its character design and sort of animation style. So that's why they're going to go with the ice look, in my opinion, is that they're trying to recapture that feeling of watching a Dragon Ball Z movie or like an old Dragon Ball Z episode and really capture that feeling in this Dragon Ball Super movie. That's why they're using ice to harken back to Dragon Ball Z Movie 2 and also other Dragon Ball Z movies such as Broly's Second Coming, which I think is the worst pile of dog shit in this Dragon Ball franchise, except for Dragon Ball Evolution, but even I find Dragon Ball Evolution entertaining. Now don't hate me because I say I like Dragon Ball Evolution. I kind of like it as an ironic thing. I mean, it's just funny, like how bad it is, like of a movie, like objectively how bad of a movie Dragon Ball Evolution is. I just find it weird and quirky, and it's just funny. But yeah, so I enjoyed that movie more than Second Coming. But yeah, Second Coming also had ice, and also the Android 13 movie that also had ice. So it's been throughout the Dragon Ball series for sure, like in terms of movies and stuff. And yeah, so I think it's just mainly for that. And also ice just looks cool. It's a nice change of pace from the city locations and the just dark sort of backgrounds we've had with, the future city and the world of Void. It just looks colorful, it just looks cool, and when somebody gets their head smashed through ice, that would look cool. Like, what if, like, Goku's head just, like, gets smashed across the ice and stuff? We even saw it in the trailer, like, how Goku stumps his foot, like, and the whole, like, ice shatters and breaks, and how good that looks. It just looks great. So, yeah, there's a few reasons why ice is in the movie. I don't think it will allude to any new Frieza race characters coming, because, as we know, it's just Frieza and his father, and they were mutants of a previous, race, a previously, living race. But, yeah, that's it. That's all for Frieza race, King Cold and Frieza, not counting, the ones from different continuity. Again, I don't want to say canon, because canon's sort of a word to me. But, yeah, I don't think it's alluding to any new Frieza race characters. And, just to reiterate my points, I don't think it's, a Saiyan cracked in the ice due to the promotional flyer. I think that's just a ridiculous theory that you're going off of. And it's just 99% marketing, something to look cool. And, yeah, the ice might indicate, the freezing of the past or the cap on this arc. And it just looks cool, just from like a particle effects and sort of just an effects point of view, just spectacle-wise. And also, I think that it's trying to harken back to Dragon Ball Z movies of old. You know, specifically movie 2, since that is the one that really gets a lot of love, I think, like out of the, you know, first 3 original Dragon Ball movies. Not Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, I should say, because Dragon Ball has its own set of movies, you know, the original series. And yeah, so the second Dragon Ball Z movie, that gets a lot of love in this community, I see. But yeah, it's actually one of my least favorite movies, actually. But that's just me. Also, people are really attached to the Ocean dub of that movie with Peter Kalamis, and I must say, even though I don't really like the movie, Peter Kalamis does a fantastic job in The World's Strongest, and yes, he does say Kaioken correctly. Anyway guys, that's gonna do it for me. Please leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think Ice, and, you know, what do you think of Ice in this new movie, and how do you think it's going to play a factor within the movie as well? Do you think that there's more meaning to Ice than, you know, is leading on? Or do you think that it's just a cool sort of nice change of pace in terms of backgrounds, and it looks more bright than the Water Void, for instance, and all the dark sort of places we've been in terms of backgrounds and sort of sets, if you want to call it that. I just think it looks cool, but what do you guys think? Do you think also the theory about the Shadow Saiyan promo flyer, do you think that is a potential thing that's going to happen? Leave me your thoughts down below, like I said. So yeah, that's going to do it for me. Please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe for new content. I upload videos every single day. Even if I miss a day, I'm going to double upload, you know, tomorrow, like the days I missed. You know, I'm going to double upload on those days. So yeah, that's going to do it for me. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Until next time.